all for coming. I'm going to present a story called The Tongue-Cut Sparrow by Alice Griffiths, and it is derived from Japanese culture. There once lived a patient old man and his old little wife together on a mountainside. The two had their problems, her not being able to bear children and he never being able to make her happy. To satisfy himself, the old man cared for a little sparrow, which he had all his life. Even though the man loved and cared for the sparrow, the old woman would never treat it with care. One day, where the woman had to wash over the tub, she was at her crankiest of times, having to bend on her knees to clean for hours. Once the old woman decided to make some starch, she put it by the window, and the sparrow took a peck of starch for himself. The woman replied with sending the sparrow out of the house and away for good. "Now be off," she shouted at the bird with angry fists. Although she could never bear children, and the sparrow was the only thing her and her husband had, her patience ran thin and her selfish antics took place of her thoughts. The old man came home to find out about his loss and grieved for days. The old man took it upon himself to go find his sparrow friend. He searched for the forests and the mountains for days, even weeks before giving up on his search. It wasn't until the old man was wandering the forest one day when he ran into his friend, yelling to another, "Ohio," meaning good morning. The two shared compliments and stories with each other till time passed long enough for the sparrow to invite the old man to his home. The old man agreed to join the sparrow for the evening and see his family and his home. The sparrow showed deep interest and cares in seeing the old man and showered him with gifts, food, and all forms of entertainment. The sparrow and the old man showed up to the house, decorated with a bamboo garden, a waterfall, and even stepping stones. Also, upon arrival, the old man met the wife of the sparrow and the two daughters, Suzumi being the older daughter, and Ko-Suzumi being the younger daughter. The old man was excited to see the success of the sparrow and what he had achieved, and decided to indulge in the evening with family more than he expected. For hours, the old man played with the children of Mr. Sparrow. They spent all this time eating food fit for a king, listening to music created by Mrs. Sparrow, playing the guitar, and simply forgetting the time was passing by. The daughter offered tea by the old man's side, kneeling in signs of respect toward the man. The remainder of the night and several days after, the man continued to stay with the sparrow and his loving, welcoming family. Once home, the old man was not welcomed with a hug and kiss or a praise for his safety. He was scolded for his absence of 5 days. While her bickering lingered on, the old man attempted to tell of his findings with the sparrows and the wonderful time he had with them. The old man continued to open the basket upon arriving, and his wife stared in amazement. Her bickering ended when she drooled over the jewels, coins, invisible coat and hat, rolls of books, and gold the basket had to offer, all from the sparrow in such a small basket. Her scowling turned into a smile of greedy joy, and she replied, "I'll go get a present from the sparrows." Adjusting herself, looking her best, she traveled to the sparrow's house. Such a bitter old woman turned into a flattering lady in front of the sparrow, engaging in friendly conversation. The sparrow, being polite, invited her into the house, but only a cup of tea was offered by the sparrow. The mother and daughters kept their distance from the old woman, knowing her reputation. The sparrow did not take his time with the old woman and rushed her out. After not offering a gift to the woman had the nerve to ask the sparrow for a goodbye gift. She carried the heavy basket away, back to her home. The old woman was so frivolous in being able to open her basket, she did not expect what was going to happen. Upon grabbing the heavier basket, she was expecting jewels, gold, and precious gifts. Her smile turned into a horrified expression when she uncovered the lid, exposing a hairy serpent with a big head curling and twisting inside the basket. The serpent sprang out at the old woman and coiled itself around her body, crushing her bones and squeezing her to death. The old man lived happy in his new home and his new life, adopting a son to comfort him. The idea of the story is that greed can take over someone's mind and soul, and it is poisonous. I believe the author of this story chose a serpent to kill the old woman because the old woman truly was poisoned herself, and she poisoned the home by losing the raven. The man was always patient, kind, and tolerant with the raven and his wife. The bird learned from the old man and gave back to him in ways he did not expect. Act humble, be kind to all, feel good doing so, and receive the same in return. Thank you.